Who's going fishing Sunday?
I am. Let's go.
Let's go.
I am.
I'm in.
What? Wait. Can you put that cat down?
Yeah. The cat's in.
I was trying to be a Bond villain. I apologize.
Yeah.
It's warm by this fire, Buck.
We're not even in the fire. We need to jump in the current.
We got to cool off in the current.
I just want everyone to know. I mean, we say it all the time. You have 7 best friends when you tune into us every week.
And it's wild because we used to say that, but now it's so real.
And it was just a real existential morning, guys.
God, existential.
Did you short drift them?
Well,
That's a yes.
That's what the Canadians say. No bueno.
No bueno.
If there is a traditional Canadian saying, no bueno. And we are back. You are listening to the Rutten River Pursuit podcast. We are Reality Outdoor Radio, where our mission is to get you in the outdoors by connecting you with the people, skills, and products you can trust.
you can trust them.
Mm-hmm. We are in the current, boys.
Yeah, buddy.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I'm Ryan. Who do I got here with me tonight?
This is Dave.
I'm Steve.
I'm Will.
It's Bucky.
Fellas,
Howdy.
how is things?
Good.
Hey, wait, hold on a second. Hey, Stevie,
Yeah.
why don't you tell us a little bit about this month's sponsor?
This month's sponsor is Quest Hunt Co. The guys over at Quest Hunt Co. have developed the biggest and baddest white-tailed deer tournament the hunting community has ever seen. Ooh. This tournament's currently in 7 states, and it's now coming to Pennsylvania.
I love the Pennsylvanias.
For whitetail hunters all across the state, here's how it works. Get yourself a partner. We set this up for 2-person teams.
Got him.
Once you're signed up, you'll be competing with everyone in your state. Your team is scored on the total gross inches of your 2 best combined bucks.
Nice.
The top 10 teams per state will receive prize packages totaling an excess of $50,000.
Me and Deke are splitting a bunch of that.
The tournament culminates with a postseason banquet where all prize-winning deer are officially scored.
Right.
And if that's not enough,
Go on.
Go on.
amazing discounts from vendors across the board
Nice.
just for signing up and monthly giveaways.
Get out of town.
It's incredible. Sign up for this epic tournament. Get all the details by checking out questhuntco.com. That's questhuntco.com. Tell them Rutten River Pursuit sent you.
I am looking forward to getting this Quest Hunt Co. thing kicked off for Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Boy, howdy.
it is near.
It's almost upon us, but it's a bit of a double-edged sword, I think, for us right
Why
now.
is that, bud?
We're getting ready to wrap up archery month.
It's like a 2-bladed broadhead.
It is like a
Is that expandable?
Back to that talk.
Yeah.
Expandable.
we won't go down that road, but it's kind of sad in the fact that we're coming to the end of archery month, but what that means for us
We're fixed bladed.
is we are getting ready to actually kick off archery season in Pennsylvania. So that is good stuff.
Oh, we got a good 2 months left to talk and hunting.
Oh, you know it, buddy.
Yeah.
You
And then
know
we'll be
it.
talking about ice fishing.
Maybe more.
Not that you're counting down the days.
Not that I'm checking them off as
But Stevie, good
Maybe
news is
3 months.
I saw something about some trout restocking getting ready to commence.
Yeah, that happens. Normally November, December.
A little fall stocking.
Yeah,
For the ice
schedule.
fishing
The
fellas.
schedule's published already. I think they're going to 118,000.
That's it.
Yeah, something like that.
It makes for a good weekend.
Yeah, that'll give you a week.
I'll run through those on a Saturday.
We caught some of those on Deke's birthday last year.
Did you?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, was that the ice fishing?
Yeah.
That stocking is from.
That's a Deke Trout Derby.
The Deke Trout Derby. That's a different month, though.
But tell me it hasn't been feeling like hunting season when you wake up in the mornings.
It was 48-something degrees at home this week.
You smell it in the air?
Yeah.
Every deer in the state was out in the fields last night. I don't know if you guys picked up on that.
Really?
And the soybeans.
They were out everywhere last night. Yeah,
The soybeans aren't sweet yet, though, are they?
No, they're still sweet.
they are. It's after that first frost
They get
turn
better.
a little
Oh,
bitter.
that's the turnips that get sweet after
That's the frost.
I
Yep.
think so.
I'll never remember this.
Beans go bitter. Beets get sweeter.
Beans don't burn on the grill.
Classic. Everyone knows that.
That's some hard-hitting tuber
That's
talk
in the
there.
Farmer's Almanac.
Beans get bitter. Beets get
Actually,
Better.
that's a legume and then a tuber, I think.
Yeah.
Whoa there.
I hope you're right. Bucky. I hope you're right.
Well, somebody write on in. Check your regs.
Somebody save this conversation, please.
If we're wrong, please email info@ruttenriverpursuit.com.
Oh boy.
I got a new toy this week.
You did not.
Yes, I did.
What'd
Let's
you
hear
do?
it.
I got me a new to me Traeger.
Really?
There you
Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, let's hear it. What have you smoked on that puppy?
I thought I smelled something good when you walked in here.
A new cologne.
You smelled that? I call that signature blend from Traeger.
Really? What's in that?
Did you just rub that, right below the beard?
I just let it just marinate on in.
There you go.
I can do about a 5-minute soak over the Traeger while it's in smoke mode.
There you go.
And that's a little bit of, it's like a hickory maple cherry blend.
Really?
Ooh.
That'd be good.
That sounds delicious.
I have trouble
one's
keeping
that?
birds off trying to land on me,
I
though.
believe it.
Which one's that? Is their signature?
That's their signature blend.
What'd you cook? Like a
Hickory and maple? Boy, when it's sunny, I'm going to come stand next to you. That's a lot of shade
That's
tree
a
right
lot
there.
of shade tree. And I tell you what, we cooked steaks on that thing the first time.
what kind of steak?
We got some New York strips, or I need to back that up,
New
guys.
York strippers.
Kansas City strips.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the difference in a New York and a Kansas City?
Where you
spelling.
grew up.
Oh, is that a fact?
She tasted like
I'll get in
cigarettes.
trouble if I don't refer to it as a Kansas City strip
Okay.
from the kinfolk.
What did you say? What did you say?
She tasted like
Cigarettes. You just totally scrolled me off that. But no, we cooked some steaks that we bought at Carnes. And the great thing about Carnes is for a supermarket, they will cut.
Oh yeah.
They will trim
cut
your
to
meat
order.
and cut to order.
Yeah.
And,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so we like our steaks a little bit thicker. I like mine pretty medium rare.
Do you?
So to get a decent steak, I like a thick steak with a nice pink metal.
What are you saying? Like
real thick
inch and a half?
juicy.
We got them an inch.
Nice.
Juicy
And the-
double.
And the interesting thing
Makes
is,
lots of
my
trouble.
wife
Was she begging for a piece of that bubble?
She's sacrilegious when it comes to steak. She
Puts ketchup on it.
likes it
Come on.
well done.
Oh my.
But
Why don't you just give her a hockey puck?
the Traeger brought her to her whole new world.
Really?
I don't think she's ever had
Somehow I
a
knew
well-done
Aladdin was
steak.
coming from Will.
that actually had some moisture still
Yeah,
on
you're
it.
not gonna
And
scorch it on that.
the bonus is you don't, like you said, scorch it. You don't have that the dripping
Yeah.
going right onto that open flame with the flare
there's
ups.
no hot spots.
Yeah, and so you're not getting a crust on it. It was.
Did
I
you
felt like I was at
season
a
it
red
with anything?
salt and pepper, but
That's it.
S&P.
yeah.
S&P.
And
Choice for me.
let
Anything
that
else is
Black
overhandling.
Angus do the talking.
You've been using smokers for a while now, right?
Yeah, for a few years.
How does this differ from like
Yeah.
what
You're
you
an
used
electric
to?
smoker feller.
In
the past.
No, I was a complete start with the lump charcoal and then go right over to.
You're hardcore, like,
I got electric smoker.
yeah, that's what I like.
And what this does for me is frees me up from having to
Oh, yeah.
continuously worry about temperature and checking it, adding, taking away. I don't have to open and look as much. Therefore, I'm keeping heat in.
Traeger did it right.
When you're looking, you're not cooking.
Yeah.
Heard that.
Where did you get that Traeger? I'm getting a little jacked up.
From
anxious.
I know. I got it from a good. I've been slow rolling that one. I got it from a good buddy of mine.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right, well, moving on. Did anybody else do anything?
I caught a flounder.
Did you?
Who
State
did you
record.
get it from, Bucky?
I got it from our good brother Will.
Aw, he's a peach.
He
Well, what's he
certainly
going to
is.
do without a grill? Poor guy.
Well, I did not leave him lonely.
High and dry.
Did you go vegan?
No, I took advantage of our Traeger discount.
Speaking of the Quest Hunt codes,
Are you trying to tell me?
I took advantage of the Traeger discount, and I think it's like 25%.
That's a good deal, Mr.
which is a
Will.
really good deal because you don't
Heck yeah.
you don't see that very often. But I got the Traeger Timberline 850.
Well, you got like Bluetooths and Wi-Fi's and everything all up in that thing.
You just start that from the truck.
I could start it from the truck. I think I just flared it up right now. No, you can do a lot of things with it, and I'm just I'm in love with a grill. Needless to say, I just can't get
That
it.
sounds hot.
Yeah.
Does Leanna know about that?
I'm in love with a grill. I've been, ever since we set it up, Bucky came over, helped me set it up, and then he took my other Traeger, and it was, pretty nice little trade-off. Helped me set up the new one, you can have my old one.
That's a pretty good trade-off.
and I tell you what, when Traeger tells you that this is a 2-person build, it is a 2-person build.
Oh yeah.
She's heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy, and you do have to manhandle her around, and you just can't flip the doors open, have them slamming around while you're doing that.
Did you name it?
No.
Just thinking that.
Jill the Grill.
Timberline 850. I didn't name it, no.
Did you name yours, Buck?
I'm just, no, it's
Sloppy seconds.
as long as she just,
That's a good name.
that would be a good name.
It's not bad.
Because you do want some sloppy seconds off of that thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's juicy.
With mine, like I don't normally cook. Leanna does all the cooking for, grilling, cooking. It's like her thing. And I cook very little. And since we've gotten this grill and set it up, I've cooked every day.
Yeah.
On the way home, I stop at Giant or the grocery store, or like
Sounds like you ought to go to that butcher shop at Carnes.
Yeah.
butcher shop. I just go to random places and grab.
Let me introduce
whatever.
you to my people, known as Carnes Butcher Shop.
Yeah, I will definitely take
You
advantage
can
of that.
buy like a whole New York strip from them for like $6 a pound sometimes.
No, even cheaper than that, bud.
Sheesh.
Well,
Anyways.
But anyway, I've been literally just grabbing like random stuff and learning how to cook and learning how to grill and just playing with the temperature settings. I've been playing with. I think there's a setting called Super Smoke.
Yeah.
Really?
And so it goes up to from 210 to 250. And on the super smoke setting, it just rolls the smoke. So I find that it's really awesome to heat things up and also inject the flavor. So you can cook something that you left over,
Like warm it up.
Oh,
really?
and then throw some extra smoke on it.
Huh.
I love that smoke.
I'd be reheating everything in there.
I know.
Goodbye air fryers.
Yeah.
Goodbye microwave.
I know.
So when you say that you've been stopping and you're learning how to cook, is Leanna like watching over your shoulder, reading recipes out of a book, or what do you mean when you say you're learning to cook? What are you doing?
No, not at all. And this is the funny part. You can go online, and these recipes can translate to, it doesn't have to be for Traeger, but they're definitely Traeger specific.
Yeah.
So you type in Traeger and then like any meat that you want. So like tenderloin or
Brisket.
Pork shoulder.
Yep, exactly.
Ribs.
Yeah. You just Traeger first and you'll pull it up.
Venison tenderloin. That was mine, Bucky.
And it is step by step, literally, like exactly turn on this and do that and set it to this temperature and blah 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 blah. And before that, they'll have the whole every ingredient that you have to buy.
Yeah.
And a step by step on how to apply.
Nice and
those.
easy.
It's super easy and super great. This is where it gets crazy. So
Go on.
I looked up a pork tenderloin like yesterday, literally, and I'm like, I didn't want to flip back to the internet. I was pulled up the Traeger app where you can run the whole grill, and I typed in pork tenderloin, and I read the ingredients and all that stuff, and at the very bottom,
I do have a tablespoon of salt.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Exactly. And at the bottom, it said, "Are you ready to cook?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I'm ready to cook."
Who's not?
Who's not? So I hit it, and it like possessed my grill. It took over the grill and like turned it up to 400 degrees, and all I did was laid the meat on the shelf, put the temperature probe in, it set the temperature probe alarm, it did everything.
And all of a sudden, the grill started going.
Will, please step away. We have your meat under control.
No, it's just like that, Ryan. Seriously, it just feels like that. Like, I can't believe how easy it is just to literally, you're just, and you step away from it, and you can look on your phone.
Yeah,
you're down.
that's the real like awesome part from what I've seen with you guys cooking and talking about everything that you've been doing with them.
We cooked tonight. I mean, how was it? Like, was any of that any good?
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I like to kid around. I'm like,
no, it was awesome.
I tell you,
Two words: meat sweats.
Yeah, I tell you all these features. I tell you everything. And by the way, the food was good.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I guess what the real takeaway is that I've noticed is as you guys are preparing these meals, we had some of the most amazing wings I've ever had off of that thing tonight.
Yeah.
They were delicious.
I'm with you there.
And then we had a pork tenderloin on there. If I'm grilling at my house, I have to move the party and make the party happen around the grill. In this case, like, you can walk away. You can go do other things. We actually did a good bit of business tonight while this pork tenderloin's cooking, and all of a sudden it's like, bing, bing. Well, it's like, who wants to eat? Because the pork's done.
Yeah.
Because his grill told him.
I can't wait to do it, like a pork shoulder, something that takes like an 8-hour, 12-hour, smoke on it. And
I don't think I could take the kind of flavor that would.
I can't wait to even try it on the Traeger though, just because you get that consistent.
Would your knees go weak, Steven?
Oh yeah. How long did those wings take?
So I cooked them last night.
Yeah.
And it was probably, I don't know, an hour.
So like an 8 hour, and those were fantastic. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I did those last night, an hour, and then I warmed them up for 30 minutes
Well, they
or
were
half
good
hour
wings.
or 20 minutes.
Well, and not to brush over, and I don't think it's Traeger related, although maybe she got the recipe there too, but Miss Leanna knocked it out of the park with her homemade blue cheese.
Oh. Yeah,
that's something else.
That's something we developed, and I honestly, like, that is something, it's a hard and fast rule of life. There's a couple, like, things that you have to have, and I don't know if anybody's ever trying to start a restaurant or whatever, but I will tell you this. I'll give you a tip. If you don't have a good blue cheese, you're pissing money away. Like, you don't care about money. You
don't care about people.
You don't care about people.
Clearly.
You don't like food.
You hate food. Like, if you don't have a good blue cheese recipe, don't even do it.
I can't think of anything I wouldn't have dipped in that. I'd pour it over my Cheerios in the morning.
Yeah, we had a couple like iterations of that to get it to there, but we're really happy with how
you should be.
Whew. And I almost want to call your version a peppercorn blue cheese or a blue cheese peppercorn dressing, because almost the peppercorn doesn't take second fiddle either. It demands some attention as well as part of the recipe.
I'll call it anything but late for dinner. I won't call it for that.
And as it kind of matures, it kind of melds together. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
got to get some of that. You guys got to get some of that on the market, I think.
Great. Now I got to go get a Traeger. You guys are killing me. I love it.
I know where you can get a discount. It was very cool. I'm so happy. Like, I'm happy. Bucky's happy. Life is good.
We're happy. We eat.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Now every Thursday we're gonna have some good smoked meats.
Oh yeah.
There's no question in my mind. I'm glad you guys liked it. Seriously. That
was delicious.
I've been loving cooking. I've been loving the process. So
I like seeing that fire in your eyes. because now I got another buddy to say, hey, let's try this. Let's do this to
run it by you.
Well, wouldn't that be cool if we threw this on top of it for 8 hours too?
Signature series smoking buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
You can give me a Y5. So I hate to jump into something else, but I got back up on the mountain a little bit. And
How's it going up there?
I let some of the trail cams soak for a couple weeks here, so I wanted to see what was going on.
Pulled some cards.
I pulled some cards, but everything
How are they looking, man?
we're in good spots. I don't see anything like massive, but we got a lot of deer activity, and they're. I don't know what it is right now. One thing I noticed, and maybe you guys can shed some light on it, is there's no real time. There's no it's not a morning spot. It's not a this or that. They're all day long. You have to be there. It seems like these spots that I picked, you're gonna have to be there all day long because they can come through at any time.
That's definitely a telltale sign of big woods, right? Like you're hunting that mountain, and those deer can go anywhere, be anywhere, and they're not far from a food source.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of how the big woods work. I'm in a completely different story with one of my properties. I don't see anything after about 7 a.m. I'm getting all morning pictures, and that's because that's when they're coming through this little parcel. It's not a big piece of land, doesn't hold deer, but big mountains, big woods. It's a crapshoot, bud. Good luck. They could be anywhere at any point. So the good news is it sounds like you're in the right spot. They're coming through.
Yeah. I found some bedding near the what I'm calling Buck Alley.
Yes.
I found some of the bedding, and unfortunately, we're walking fairly close to it to get to the stand. So that's kind of makes me a little bit nervous, but at the same time, it really, I don't know, because I'm just seeing pictures of deer the whole day, all day long.
And those patterns are going to change a little bit too as the season gets closer and food sources do start to shift, as does the digestive system of the deer.
Sure.
But if you're close to a bedding area, your best option is get in super early in the mornings.
Okay.
So that you can get there well before they get back to bed, or sneak in really, really quiet for an afternoon sit and wait for them to come out of the beds in the afternoons.
Yeah.
Until it gets to be the end of October, bucks start getting on their feet more often during the day. And I'm not saying the rut is the end of October, but
the rut's the end of October.
No.
Oh.
I said I'm not saying that. But that's when things start happening. The bucks will start nudging the does around a little bit, hoping that maybe things are ready to kick off. They start serenading them, singing,
How you doing?
singing the...
That's from Jersey and New York.
Frank Sinatra.
Fly me to the...
I was going to say all the boy band songs like Will was going for. Hey, girl.
Backstreet Boys.
Yes, a little bit of Backstreet
In Syncs.
Please forgive me for all the wrong I've done. Please come home, girl.
Girl, you know it's true.
Milli Vanilli.
But
Philly Vanilli.
Philly Vanilli.
You're welcome.
But at that point, it's kind of like all bets are off. But if you're, like I said, near that bedding area, super early in the morning, or get in real nice and quiet in the afternoon.
Yeah, I was thinking, it kind of wrecked me thinking, how am I going to get to that place? Is it weird that I'm still tramping around looking for recon? Is it too much right now? Should I just, I'm finding so much stuff right now that...
You can overdo it though, right? Like poking around in there too much. Will that spook them off, or clue them into you, or will that just make them get used to your scent?
I think I have time.
There's schools of thoughts in both directions. Yeah.
I think I have time, but yeah.
You will. I mean, deer will get educated, but if you're traipsing around, like for lack of a better term, if that's what you're kind of doing, that's less of a problem than a steady pattern to and from a stand.
Right.
In and out, checking cameras, in and out, same spots. If you're all over the place, then the deer can't pattern you, and you're not educating them.
Right.
So you want to do more prancing than traipsing.
Gotcha.
Just don't frolic. That'll give you away, bud.
I look like a Lipizzerian stallion.
I've said that about you on numerous occasions.
Mm-hmm. Also, some of the spots are pretty active and some of the spots are not. But they all have deer. Every one I picked deer. So I'm really kind of happy. Here's another thing. I'm just going to disclose this.
Go on.
Disclose away.
2 years ago, when I got this property for the first time, I didn't do any kind of scouting. I have no recon. And what we did was we basically fed the deer as much as we possibly could till the month before, and then you're out. Just, we definitely were legal with it.
Check your regs.
Check those regs. But in PA, but the whole summer long, every 2 weeks, we're spreading corn.
Yeah, you were broadcasting.
And this year, I haven't dropped a corn, a kernel. I've bought $0 worth of corn, and I'm finding the actual, the deer sign, the acorns. I'm looking for all this stuff.
Water.
Yeah, I'm looking for all this sign,
Right.
and we're getting zeroed in on travel routes and where the deer actually are. Versus, I'm just saying, this is a completely different approach.
It's a different approach for sure.
And I found that too. Why am I doing this now? When we did a whole summer worth of spreading corn and this and that, as soon as you're done with that, they're pretty much done. They're not. They might.
We're gone.
Yeah, they might be used to checking it or whatever. But we didn't see a lot of deer in that spot that we broadcast, into the season. So,
well, and Pennsylvania regulations say you can't put it down with 30 days before the season starts.
Yeah, no attractants, no
there's
mineral licks, no food, nothing.
That leaves them 30 days to kind of wander by every once in a while and go, oh yeah, that free food that was here all the time. It's not here, so
Right.
I've got no reason to come back.
Yeah, and so
You're better off finding that natural browse, the natural food sources. And if you aren't hunting ag, so you're not edges of fields, things like that, knowing how to find that in the woods it's key.
Yeah. Now, they still travel through there, which is is nice, but not obviously whenever you're spreading corn. And so with the trail cams and everything like that, we literally lost a whole herd of deer, and so it caused me to do a lot more legwork in turkey season and things like that. A lot more scouting.
Yep.
And so for the first time doing that, we found some sheds this year, and also I put 3 trail cameras out where we have bucks. We're getting bucks on every camera that we put out.
Nice.
So I don't want to pat myself on the back, but that was just a big win for us.
It's only because you'll pull your arm out.
My shoulder's sensitive.
Yeah. No, you're definitely doing the right thing. There's reasons to supplement their feed and to put the corn down, especially if you've got a bigger piece of land and you try to take inventory, things like that. It brings deer closer to cameras. There's reasons for it.
Yeah.
But it's not a shortcut to just pure woodsmanship. Understanding the deer's natural habitat, understanding their patterns, why they're here, why they're not there. Nothing beats that. So if you get that figured out on a piece of property,
and that place that we picked, initially was a clearing that the landowner had. It wasn't a field,
like a potential home site.
No, it wasn't a field at all. It wasn't a home site. It was just a little bit of a clearing and some rocks that he, picked as a spot to hunt. And so we kind of just enhanced it for him.
Right.
And then over the last next 2 years, we spent way more time on the property.
So, yeah, and that's not uncommon to find. As soon as somebody gains access to a piece of property, the first instinct is to find places that look good to hunt.
Yeah. Or just going off of what people tell you. This is what I do. This is what I do. This blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're standing there and you're kind of looking around. You're like, okay, like I've got good shooting lanes here, or I got visibility to this, or this is great there. Everything's from the perspective of the hunter.
You're exactly right.
And what you've done now is you've taken that shift and you're like, well, okay, that's great, but what are the deer doing?
Yeah.
And once you hone in on that, then you adjust your hunting strategy to what the deer are doing.
It's the first time.
And you're going to be way better.
Literally the first season for me to do that, believe it or not. Like, I usually have somebody telling me to do something. Someone else has influenced my set. No, this time, not so much. Like I kind of said a couple weeks ago, you have a big wood situation where you have some deer sign, and literally 20 yards off of that deer sign, there's no deer sign. And so finding that, looking at that, looking at down the forest, looking.
It's key.
Yeah, and finding that next whatever, if it's a rub or if an old rub or some deer crap, whatever, it's that really adds up over time. Yeah, so.
And then you can also take that to the next level and make it the big picture type thing, because the next time you walk on a new piece of property, which you did recently when you were coming to help me hang stands, you use what you've gained as that knowledge on that property, and you didn't walk in looking around, looking up, trying to figure out what it's going to look like from your tree stand and what's a good shooting lane or this or that. You were looking for the deer sign.
Yeah.
It changes your focus.
It sure does. It really does. I'm just, the cameras confirmed it, so.
Awesome.
I'm glad. I'm pretty happy right now. Like I said, nothing, no monsters. I know guys are sending us pictures all the time with big monsters, and they're pretty much just showing off. Just kidding.
I want to put a word of warning out to folks, because I pulled my first cards from a newer property that I've got access to.
Sure.
And I was so excited about this piece of property. Not a lot of woods, lots of ag, strips of woods is like hedgerows, things like that. Very, very excited about prospects. All doe.
Oh, yeah.
All doe on my cameras. And for a moment, I was disheartened. And actually my son was feeding into that as we're thumbing through the pictures, and in a week and a half's time there was 250 pictures on the camera.
Wow.
And they were all deer. It's not like there was just false positives or anything like that. They were all deer, but all doe.
But could that be a good thing though, come rut?
That's what I explained to my son, because at first, like, I'm buying into what he's saying. He's like, why aren't there any buck? It's all doe. It's all doe. That means as long as we keep those girls happy, they'll bring the boys around come later.
Their milkshakes will.
Just it. So just because that was my word of warning, I guess, for folks, is just because you pull cards and you're not getting those big buck, doesn't mean they won't be there later in the year. Probably the biggest buck that was killed in my immediate family was my daughter's when she was 10. She was dipped in it that year. But when she killed that buck, I had been running 6 or 7 different cameras on that property all year long.
Wow.
Didn't ever get a picture of this buck. And here he comes in with a pile of doe, and she got him in rifle season.
Wow.
So just because you aren't getting buck on your cameras right now doesn't mean they won't be coming in later.
Yeah, buddy.
Makes sense.
Well, to be determined.
So the Deekster.
What?
No Traeger for the smoking.
No, I'm sticking to the Weber kettle top.
No camera pulls that you're willing to talk about.
But
what do you got going on?
I can say my fishing season is finally satisfied.
Really?
Is it? Uh-oh.
You put the pontoon away?
No, not yet.
Did you spear a sturgeon?
Catch a walleye.
No. Every year.
Was it a fluke?
Close.
How about that?
I'm a little farther south. We call them flounder.
Oh, gotcha.
But every year I love to catch a flounder. It's like
sounds like a fluke.
It needs to be a check mark in the box. You know, so, I have to catch a flounder every summer. And now with the
you're running out of summer.
I know. So this year with the family dynamic of a 2-year-old, when I'm at the Eastern Shore, it's a little different. We're doing more surf fishing because we're incorporating the family.
Building sandcastles.
Yeah, it's just surf fishing.
You can still fish and pretend to be a dad.
Exactly. So it's
Amen.
Hey
comrades.
It's this summer I wasn't able to fish the jetties, to fish the pier like I normally do, but my dad and I actually got out on a headboat and like a party boat. It was funny, like Friday night, Dad and I were like, hey, we have gift cards for the party boat. And I was like, oh crap, when are we going to be able to use these? Because like our fall is already booked up on hunting.
Yeah.
And we had, that weekend was kind of free. So we're like, let's run down to Delaware. And so Sunday we got out and we were worried because we were showing up at the wharf, at Fisherman's Wharf in Lewis, Delaware, and there's not very many people. And this is normally like a boat that, it's a boat that normally takes like 30 guys out. And there was like 10 of us at the dock.
Was the weather okay?
The weather was okay.
I thought it was windy and all kinds of
It was, it wasn't bad though. And I was worried that there wasn't enough guys to go out. And
wow.
I was trying to call the captain Saturday night. He didn't return my call. So I'm even more worried. And we're there at 6 a.m, ready. And the boat's supposed to depart at 7. And again, there's only like 10 guys there.
So you don't have to make like a reservation for this?
I did. I just put my name in, and like the lady at the desk was like, oh, call the captain. You can really zero in and whatnot. And all of a sudden, like the mates show up. We start seeing the mates move around, and Fisherman Wharf has they have 4 or 5 large party boats, and they were moving gear from the normal party boat we normally go out on to a smaller one. And here it turns out they knew there wasn't a lot of guys coming, so they went to a smaller one.
Okay.
And so we board and we get everything set up, and the captain gets on the microphone and is like, "Hey guys, it's gonna be a long ride. We're going out to, I think it was Reef Site 11. So Delaware and New Jersey have a joint reef site locations. So there's a map for all that for Delaware Bay and for off the coast of Delaware. There's all these artificial reefs that Delaware and New Jersey have gone together and built, and they're like old rail cars, some sunk ships, like all kinds of stuff.
Cool. Wow.
So he's like, hey, buckle in. We're gonna have a 2-hour ride.
What?
Yeah. So we ride out for 2 hours, and it was a little bit longer because it was a slower boat than the normal one.
2 hours.
Yes. We did not really start fishing until 10 a.m. And the captain said, he's like, I know this is gonna be a long ride. I'll make it worth it, because normally it's a 8-hour trip.
Yeah.
And so we set up at the first drift, and we're catching sea bass. Not a lot of guys around us catching stuff. Dad and I were catching stuff though, so that was good. And it just kept going and going, and we fished that whole day. We fished hard, lost a lot of rigs because we were in, and it's funny, the captain being on, hey, we're gonna go over some trolley cars now. There's gonna be, and you felt it, like you're bouncing off the bottom with your jig, and all of a sudden you got to reel in line, and he said there's like an 8-foot hump that we're gonna go over.
Wow.
And he's like, so you got
a trolley car.
Yeah, you got to reel in some line. Then you go over it. Then all of a sudden you're not feeling bottom. You got to let line back out.
The bottom was actually the top of the trolley car.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool.
And there was another thing he said. He's like, if somebody gets hung up beside you, get ready. You're probably gonna have a fish. And it was true. Like
Really?
the guy beside you would get snagged, and all of a sudden, bam, your rod would go off.
Why is that?
You're just in really good cover. You're right on the reef. Then is what the one mate said. Because I kind of had that question too. I'm like,
So you're dangling it just outside their cover, so
Yeah.
they're coming out and snapping it.
Yep, exactly.
Gotcha.
One time I was hung up, and the mates all say, "Hey, when you get hung up, just let us know," and because they're used to like unsnagging you.
Yeah.
And so I hand him my rod, and all of a sudden, bam, 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 the rod tip goes off. And here, a fish actually was biting the line, biting the lure, and popped us out of the snag.
Nice of him.
And bam, there was a sea bass.
Cool.
But I caught, I think, 2 flounder, and I lost count on sea bass. And but
Any keepers?
Dad caught all the keepers. I did not catch a single keeper for the day.
Really?
Yeah. And Dad caught 3 keeper sea bass and 1 keeper flounder.
Cool.
Yeah. And the captain at the end while we were riding in, he got on the microphone. He was like, this is a day. One guy would say this is a great day, the next guy would not. It's just one of those days. And he's like, that's fishing. He was scratching his head on where they are.
So you and your dad were both those guys. in
Yeah,
that
it
scenario.
turned out.
Did you get a participation trophy?
Aw.
Yeah, he let me hold up his fish for the picture. Two of them.
Anyone catching any tog?
No tog.
Yeah.
They said that would happen because I was asking him because I was looking forward to some tog. Maybe I really wanted to get after some sea bass and of course a flounder, but the tog are kind of for me elusive. I haven't caught a keeper tog, and but they said that the water temperature needs to get a little bit colder before that really turns on, and yeah, but it was a good day. It was a great day on the first half of the day till about 1 o'clock.
How long do they run those boats?
They run them pretty much year round.
Really?
Yeah. And
Bucky, we need to do that.
oh, it's fun. The best part about I've done some other party boats, and it's kind of like you use all their rigs, all their rods. This one is you can rent rods and you can buy rigs and everything off of them, but they suggest you having the gear. So we show up with the gear, and I kind of knew what we were going to use for a rig, just because of being on it before. But I was like while we're riding now on that 2-hour ride, got one of the mates over. I was like, hey, here's my gear. Here's the leader, here's the hooks, here's the sinker. What do you think I should use? He's like, okay. And he just gets in my tackle box, and bam, like 30 seconds later, full rig was tied. He's like, this will be a sea bass killer. I was like, okay.
What did it look like?
For your dad.
Yeah, for my dad. It was a simple top and bottom rig.
Yeah.
Tandem. I call those tandems.
Yeah. I was running a bucktail teaser.
Yeah.
So it's not a weighted jig. It's just a hook with a bucktail tied on it. And so it's no weight on the top and bottom. I was running like a chartreuse and a white. And then we were using 8 ounces of sinker. And they gave us bait.
Day old rotten squid.
No, it's fresh squid because they were cutting it for about the first day. They were cutting all bait like on the ride out. They're in the back of the boat just cutting bait. Clams, squid, like flounder belly.
It was a buffet.
Yeah.
And something else. I forget what else they had.
Bloodworms. You guys are always using bloodworms.
No
down there.
bloodworms
Really?
on that.
All right.
One
Thought
guy-
I'd throw that out there.
One guy brought his own sand fleas along.
Yeah.
And I was using some of the sea bass I caught on gulp. So pink 3-inch swimming mullet gulp.
Oh, here we go with the pink.
Yeah. But it was a great day though. It's
How deep?
we were about 80 foot of water.
Woo!
Yeah.
How do you feel a sea bass in 80 feet of water with an 8-inch, 8-ounce sinker?
Those sea bass, it was funny because at first you're like, man, I got a huge fish.
They kick your ass.
And it's a 10-inch sea bass. It's not even legal.
That's sea bass.
Yeah. They're not even legal. They're 12 and a half to be legal in Delaware. And, they just put up a good fight for such a small fish.
We're on a road trip across the country. The last thing we need is some bad luck. Now, quick, throw some salt over your right shoulder.
But yeah, I mean, you definitely, even with 8 ounces. I mean, we were.
Who's the dead man? Hit me with.
No, that's good. At times, though, we even bumped up to 12 ounces of weight, and just because the current and the drift, you just needed that much to stay on bottom.
You using a trolling rod?
No,
Trolling rod.
I was using a. What is it? It was a simple ugly stick, 6.5 foot, medium heavy, 10 to 25 pound.
Extra sensitive.
Yeah,
With the 12 ounce weight on it?
yeah. It's surprising with a Shimano reel. Yeah, like it's not huge, like broomstick of rods.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like really, your heavy bass gear would work.
Huh.
Yep.
Don't tell Stevie that.
My T. Allen.
Your T. Allen, yeah.
I'd work like a charm.
Looks like
Well, not
Stevie's
you
going
don't
to have a different.
Not too many
camper
people are
site.
running spinning gear.
They have camper sites down there.
Oh yeah, there's camper sites all over the place. Yeah, you can camp at the state park there.
Is it wooded? Because Stevie doesn't. He likes shade when he camps.
I know he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Gonna take some of your special blend down there. Signature series. All that shade tree.
There you go.
Take your Traeger down.
the
He'll have all the shade he
Steve,
needs.
did you make it over to the RV shows?
No.
What?
No, we did not.
That's all you could talk about.
Oh, I know. I was excited, but there was.
that's a huge RV show.
Yeah,
Tell me
there
about
was,
Fouls up traffic
first
for
week
a
of
whole
school
week
or
around the
second
house.
week of school. It seems like every teacher on the planet wants to have a orientation or something.
Well, with your
like
20 kids, that's a lot of
that.
time.
Well, yeah, I guess that it does add up. No, we didn't make it over there, unfortunately.
Gotcha.
You call it Meet the Teacher Month.
Yeah,
Call it Meet the Teacher
seems
Month.
like it. It seems like it. No, we did get camping. It looks like that will be the last Miser camping trip of the year.
You gonna winterize it already?
Well, the soccer started, and we normally have like a free weekend from soccer at some point in October, but not this year. So it's all every Saturday morning. So it's probably not going to be able to get out anymore. But we camped in a state park this past weekend up at Cowan's Gap, and that was my favorite. It was my wife and my kids' least favorite. Because there was just...
Because you just went trout fishing the whole time.
No, there's just nothing... Here, if for people that don't or that are thinking about getting into camping or don't camp, the campsite size is inversely proportional to how much stuff there is to do at the campground.
Is that Miser's Law?
The bigger the size of the campsite.
The bigger the size of the campsite, the less stuff there is to do, and vice versa.
We need to go to one of those like glamping RV parks.
Yeah.
Dude,
Miser's Law.
We went. Yeah. So we've been to some places this year where there's so much stuff to do, but you pull the slide out on the camper, and
I don't know why you'd waste.
And you bump into the neighbor.
yeah, you're bumping into the neighbor.
I don't know why you'd waste our law on a camping.
Miser's Law
equation.
applies to. There's lots
many,
of
many
different
things.
applications.
Oh, God.
This is section 2,
This is section
subsection
2,
C,
the outdoor
camping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you were in the campground then that's just off the lake where we trout fished?
Yeah, and it's actually that park.
We should
is
camp
huge.
there for first day of trout season.
I thought of that. I was thinking about
You take
that.
the
We were
camper,
there.
I'll take the boat.
That park is
You
huge.
take the camper and
How many sites are up there, Stevie?
Oh, there's cabins there. There was probably a good. It wouldn't be a stretch to say there were 70, 80 sites, maybe more. 100 sites. There's 2 different
Is there
camps.
trees inside your site?
Yes, we were completely covered in trees. I had caterpillars dropping out of the
hammock-
trees.
were hammock
laying on me. No, we didn't see any
No bears.
Is there hammock trees?
Oh, there's plenty of hammock trees.
Really?
Oh,
Boom.
my goodness.
You take the camper, Deke takes the boat,
There's-
I'll take a hammock.
It's unbelievable. There's no water.
I'll take the new canoes.
There's
There you
no
go.
water at the site, so you have to take your own water in. So that was a little bit
A
different.
little
than
primitive.
Yeah, but I loved it. Like
That sounds like fun though.
Was it like
was-
a case of water?
No, like water for use the sink.
But you can like walk to the bathhouse if you want to shower.
Yeah, which is what we did, and But it was that was
Jump in the lake.
a lot of fun. It rained the first day, most of the day.
Well, that's Miser Law, like subsection 3.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Rains when you camp.
But no, it was a very, very good camping. That was the only time we had rain this year camping. So it was for a couple hours. So we dealt with it. But that's it.
That's 2019 camping.
That's a wrap. I think.
You guys will get out one more time.
I don't know. I hope maybe. I don't know how we're going to, but we might. I hope maybe the weather will
Maybe
hold out.
that's it for your family camping in the camper.
Yeah.
But I think we should get him a hammock, do one more float down to Juniata for an overnight.
He won't do it.
I can do that.
My Saturdays are booked from
That's
now
right.
till
How's your Sundays?
October
Because we can go after the
25th.
Saturday
We can go
night,
after the soccer
Saturday
games.
evening into
you
the
could do
Sunday
that.
morning.
Are you allowed to do that?
Heck yeah.
Check your regs.
No, you are. Like,
You can
that's-
Sunday
the
fish,
answer
bud.
is yes.
You can?
Yeah, in Pennsylvania.
When
you
did
can.
they start that?
They just
Blue laws don't cover that one.
Yeah.
Oh, whew.
Woo! I will tell you this, guys.
Tell us what, bud.
There's something
Go
that
for
I
it.
heard through the grapevines that
Is it about raisins?
it's a grapevine. The old social pipeline. I'm not going to say, exactly what happened or what went down, but Uncle Catfish has 2 kayaks for sale. And I don't know if he still
right.
has them for sale, but
I imagine
if
he
you're
does.
looking for kayaks, he's got 2 feel-frees for sale, which means he's probably been doing some upgrading.
Yeah, I think he's been shopping.
Bless his heart.
Yeah. But they're great. Those feel-frees are
Yeah, they are.
stupid. Ask Pick. He loves his.
If I haven't been
I'll ask him.
dropping hints to my wife
Yeah.
about, jet boats for the river,
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd have to look into those. 'Cause those are pretty sweet kayaks. But my hints are actually starting to work.
They are?
They are.
Really?
Get out of town.
So dropping hints.
How
I
do you
got
get your
Hunter
wife
involved
to?
now?
Yeah. How do you get your wife to kind of come around on a jet boat for the river?
I just keep talking about boats.
Is there
Just bringing
anything
it
we
up
can
and
do to help?
I'm showing her, pictures of stuff that people are sending me. They're forwarding me
Pictures of
links to
families
stuff.
having fun on
Yeah,
jet
like
boats.
look at these. The kids are all smiling.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
This guy's wife really loves him.
Look
he
at
has
it.
a jet boat.
So I've been dropping these hints randomly, just here and there. And I think it was Tuesday night this week. Just finished up dinner and getting ready to go outside and play with the dog. And I'm walking through the kitchen. My wife's there.
care of your dog.
And
Why
my-
don't you give me a jet boat?
My wife
Seems
says,
fair.
"Hey, where's that Ducky's boat place you were talking about?"
Yeah.
What?
My heart skipped a beat, and I almost went.
You had to
But I
play it
didn't.
cool.
I played it cool, and I was like, "Oh,
Oh, what's
it's
that?
like,
Dang girl.
it's like Middletown, or it's like
Somewhere.
up toward Will's house,
It's
or
exactly 10 minutes away from
something.
my
I
work.
think.
13.2
Not really
miles.
sure. And then I just kept walking, and I went out in the garage. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. Starting to work. But yeah. So there's a real good chance that I won't be buying Catfish's kayaks, only because
I got a jet boat.
I may be buying me a nice big old fishing boat.
Nice.
Time will tell.
Yeah,
Don't tease us.
What's the time frame on this?
Now's the time to buy.
I know. As soon as I'm saying, by the time,
Tax season?
you know what, I'm just putting it out there right now. I am going to be fishing opening day of trout season at Cowan's Gap in an 18-foot flat bottom boat with a jet on the back.
Just
Next year counts.
taking a ride.
Ooh, he's tearing that lake up.
It's going to have a trolling motor on the front,
Yeah.
so I'm legal. But
Yeah.
That sounds like a nice platform for.
I'm
Chef
thinking about what
Buckwagon.
do you think the what do you think
Buckwagon's on that.
what do you think the ticket would be if we're all the way down at the dam and
Worth
I just
every penny.
open her up back to the
Worth
launch?
every penny. Yeah. Check your regs, but I think it would be worth every penny.
Yeah, that
At
would
least for me.
Tell
Be a
them that
bad
you forgot
idea.
to put the bilge plug in.
Whoops.
You had to blow out
Yeah,
the
yeah,
water.
we
Come
had
out
to-
playing out, bud.
We had to get this thing up on plane.
You
Weaving in and out of all those boats.
I was with the Miser boys. They forgot to put the plug in.
You're just skipping over kayaks, little speed bumps.
Yeah, exactly.
If it was such an emergency, why is Stevie water skiing behind you?
In a wetsuit.
One more lap.
He's scouting.
You see all those rangers with their binoculars just like
yeah.
freaking out.
Salivating.
I would never do anything like that.
No. Of course not.
Red River does not
This is
condone.
all.
Like Stevie said, check your eggs.
Check your eggs.
But there's, at this point, a better than good chance that by next spring I'll be on my own.
That's a bold statement, Cotton.
What are we on, the Ocho?
You're on Red River, the Ocho.
You can't hold me to it. I'm just saying. There's a chance.
Now it's being recorded.
It's on record.
Speaking of the Ocho,
I'll edit it out.
What's up, Stevie?
this episode is going to wrap up season 3, right?
Yeah, this is speaking of Quattro.
Speaking of Ocho, we're going to be starting season Quattro.
Yep, this is the end of the currents.
And it's Month Nueve.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, bud. I can't believe that.
You
Good
doing
you
it.
brought that up.
You're getting
doing
awful close to
something.
math again, Stevie.
Yeah, we've got one more Sonic Campfire that you guys will be hearing before we wrap up the month. But
I'm excited for season 4.
it's coming.
I wonder what
At this point, there's no stopping
like.
it.
What was your favorite part of season 3? Bucky.
Eagle Falconer pops out at me just because that was a long anticipated guest that I'd been
Ryan.
following.
Just being with you guys every week.
Stop it. David Kyle.
Opening day of trout fishing.
Really?
Yeah, well, the second one, the statewide opener.
You like that one?
Oh, I did.
Yeah. Steve?
That was definitely mine too. That was such a. There was a couple people
existential.
missing. That would have made it perfect. But
I sure
it
missed
was,
that one. Yeah.
It was an epic
Pick didn't
day.
come.
Yeah, no pick, no catfish,
No Wills.
no Wills,
No Kyles.
no Kyles.
I loved seeing Nurse Chuckwagon rules in Alaska.
I get around.
Who puts that on a wall in a bathroom in Alaska? In the anchorages.
Only because it was obviously faded. Do I know it wasn't you?
It was not. It was real.
Nurse Chuckwagon rules.
In bold, like John Deere green. No, it's in black, but
There's no such thing as coincidence.
John Deere Sharpie.
letters 3 foot high.
Yeah.
If you're in the bathroom for any length of time at the, what was that, Red Saloon?
Was it Red Dog?
Anchorage Red Saloon.
I think Red Dog Saloon.
It's where you get the duck fart shot.
Yeah. If you're in the bathroom for any length of time, you're staring at the wall straight in front
You'll
of you.
see it.
You'll see Nurse Chuckwagon rules. And it's unmistakable on a wall full of graffiti.
Was there a phone number beside it?
It said for a great
717. That's all he picked up.
I need to get up there and sit right up next to it and say, thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
TBT.
Awesome. Speaking of TBT, that about wraps up this episode of The Current, right?
Thank you, brothers.
It does, boys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As they say in the podcasting business, I think we did this current justice.
I've heard that before, and I think we did.
Before we close it out, Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about some more of this month's sponsors?
All right. This episode was also brought to you in part by Protection First Class Outdoors. PFC lubricants protect and lubricate your firearms, bows, tree stands, and everything else in your outdoor equipment inventory. Your equipment's protected and lubricated during the season, and the deer aren't going to smell you. Come on. You know you need to get some. Head on over and check out everything they've got going on over at pfcoutdoors.com. Oh, get you some of that stuff, and you will be totally protected.
Yeah, buddy.
Great stuff. I love it. So, David Kyle, where can folks find us?
You can find us on all the social medias by searching Rut and River Pursuit. That is the Instagram, the Facebook, and the Twitter.
Love this.
Make sure you check us out on YouTube by searching Rut and River Pursuit Podcast.
Check out them YouTube.
Make sure you subscribe. Also, you can find us on Monday and Thursdays on podcast apps such as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
I love Spotify.
I'm digging it.
And stay up to date by going to rutandriverpursuit.com.
Very nice, boys. Another great week. Ooh, season 4 is coming up. I can't wait.
I shot a crossbow tonight.
You did.
Did accurately.
Good on you, boys.
Yep,
And you have all 10 fingers.
I sure do.
See ya.
Ring 'em weedless. I'll never remember this.
Beans go bitter. Beets get sweeter.
The beans don't burn on the grill.
Classic. Everyone knows that.
That's some hard-hitting tuber
That's
talk
in the
there.
Farmer's Almanac.
Beans get bitter. Beets get
Actually,
better.
That's a legume and then a tuber, I think.
Yeah.
Whoa there.
I hope you're right. Bucky. I hope you're right.
I like seeing that fire in your eyes because now I got another buddy to say, hey, let's try this. Let's do this.
Run it by you.
Well, wouldn't that be cool if we threw this on top of it for 8 hours too?
Signature series smoking buddies. Love it.
You can give me a Y5.
Here's the leader, here's the hooks, here's the sinker. What do you think I should use? He's like, okay. And he just gets in my tackle box and bam, like 30 seconds later, full rig was tied. He's like, this will be a sea bass killer. I was like, okay.
What did it look like?
For your dad.
Yeah, for my dad.